Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wake Up Wisconsin. I'm Brittany Slaughter.
And I'm Sadie Fisher. We have got live team coverage all morning long as Wisconsin is under a winter storm warning through tomorrow afternoon. Let's take a look at your top stories.
And one of those stories are the slick road conditions this morning. We had some light snow overnight. It'll get heavier later today. We've got a report on what you can expect for your morning commute.
And the results are in for Wisconsin's high-stakes primary election. We hear from both candidates now competing for a seat at the state Supreme Court.
Plus,
I had to walk down the block to get here because the road was closed off.
new details this morning on a polling location in Wisconsin forced to change venues. What authorities say led to shots being fired straight ahead.
Right now, a Storm Track 9 weather alert from News 9 WAOW.
A number of school districts will be closed today due to the winter storm. Thorpe, Watoma, and Wisconsin Dells are all going to be closed, and some of the schools are taking a virtual learning day, and that includes Wausau, Stevens Point, Wisconsin Rapids, among others. Many districts have already canceled for tomorrow. You can find a full listing at the bottom of your screen and on our website.
And all currently scheduled flights have been canceled at Central Wisconsin Airport in Mosinee. Those listings are on your screen, including flights to and from Chicago and Minneapolis-St. Paul. This comes as the winter storm is creating trouble across the U.S. More than 500 flights scheduled for today have been canceled nationwide. And we, of course, want to check in with Storm Track 9 Chief Meteorologist Justin Lowe. And a couple inches this morning, but enough to kind of cause some issues this morning.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the roads are covered. Anytime you get, 3 inches of snow, it's going to be a slippery morning commute. That is for sure. And that's what we saw overnight, 2 to 4 inches of snow in some spots. And we see with our Count of Rome camera view there in Adams County that it's really tapered off. The snow is on the roadways, and you see a couple of flurries there. And we see the downtown streets in Wausau not plowed yet, so you got snow-covered roads there. I'm sure the plows will be out this morning to take a swipe. Our Jefferson Street in an event center camera does show, boy, a more wintry scene, isn't it? And our road conditions map does show scattered slippery spots and snow-covered conditions as you would expect with the light snow that fell overnight. Now you can tell, though, most of the snow is kind of tapering off. We got one little band of snow through central Wisconsin, Clark County, parts of around Marshfield and Marathon County areas. So a little bit of snow this morning. And now it will pick up again this afternoon, especially south of Marathon County. So it might not seem too bad this morning, but this afternoon the heavier snow will start to develop in the south where it is a little bit warmer, 25 in Wisconsin Dells. Look at Rhinelander, though, 11 degrees, and the wind chill makes it feel more like 0. So the roads are a bit covered this morning, so we'll put up the yellow lights for your Sparhawk trucking commute forecast. But the heavier snow will develop this afternoon. It'll be breezy as well, causing some blowing and drifting snow in the country areas. So we're going to put up the red lights for your afternoon commute. You got to be careful on the roadways. The snow will continue through tomorrow morning. I'll have details on what the weekend is looking like coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks so much, Justin. Definitely going to want to be careful out there, and we continue now our coverage on the snow hitting our area.
And we've got News 9's Adriana Daniel live with the view of the roads in Portage County and the impacts the snow is having right now. Adriana, I mean, people are definitely going to want to be careful on the roads this morning.
Well, that is true. Right now we are in Stevens Point. We just did a quick drive from Stevens Point all the way down to Plover, and it's in this area that the Wisconsin 511 is reporting it is ice covered throughout the area, and we definitely saw that in Plover, over on Post Road, especially in front of the police department over in Plover. There was a lot of ice, a slick road on top, and now we're back in Stevens Point where they are still under a snow emergency, and when that is happening, you want to avoid parking on the road at all times. We haven't seen anyone park on the road so far, so it seems like everyone's listening to that. But not parking on the road helps the plows get as much done when coming to clean the roads as possible, protecting everyone in the end.
And Adriana, what would you say your speed is? Do you think you're going pretty slow today or kind of at the speed limit? What are you at?
We were going pretty slow on 51. We were probably going about just under 50 miles an hour. Like I said earlier, that snow was really caking up in our faces of the car, and now we're hitting about 20. We are on probably a 25 mile an hour road, but as you can see, a car in front of us is just going a little bit faster. Most people are just barely going above 25 in this area today.
Well, thanks so much, Adriana. We will check back in a little bit. Stay safe out there.
We're not seeing any major reports of power outages in the area right now, but you do need to be prepared in case the power goes out. News 9's Sabrina Lee spoke with officials on how you can help crews and yourself when a power outage happens.
Wisconsin Public Service crews say they're more than ready to tackle any outages that may happen this week. And while they're confident, there are ways you can help them. Projected gusty winds and blowing snow may make travel difficult for WPS crews on the roads. They might take some extra time to get to your outage.
And so that may delay our crews as they're trying to respond and address any outages that would occur. But again, from our standpoint, our first priority is to make sure that our crews are responding as safely and as quickly as they can.
They're asking customers for patience while they respond. Times may vary depending on the outage.
And you can stay up to date with the winter weather with our Storm Track 9 weather app. It is free to download and easy to find in the app or Google Play Store. We now have the results of yesterday's crucial primary election.
The biggest race that could have national implications is the contest for who will be the two candidates on the ballot for state Supreme Court in April's general election. Judge Janet Protasewicz and former state Supreme Court Justice Daniel Kelly have been declared winners in the race by the AP. Protasewicz taking 46% of the vote, with Kelly taking 24%.
In the race for Supreme Court, it is considered a nonpartisan election, but currently conservatives do hold a 4-3 majority in the court. Interest groups and political parties pumped millions of dollars into the race because of several issues that will be going to the Supreme Court, including the state's 1849 law prohibiting abortion in most cases. And new on Wake Up, we're hearing from the winning candidates on their now secured chance for a seat at the state Supreme Court.
Judge Janet Protasewicz sharing what she believes Wisconsin voters are most concerned about.
People are extremely concerned about women's reproductive rights. People are extremely concerned about the 2024 presidential election and whether or not that's going to come into our Supreme Court chamber. They're concerned about the environment. They're concerned about marriage equality.
Meanwhile, former Justice Daniel Kelly saying Wisconsin will lose the rule of law if his opponent wins in April.
There's much work to be done before we can truly celebrate, because this is going to be an election like no other. Tonight, we join battle in the fight to preserve our constitutional form of government against a novel and grave threats.
Turning now to what may be our most contested face-off locally, the Stevens Point mayoral race.
Mayor Mike Wiesa is facing off against Melissa Johnson and Craig Tesh. With all preliminary votes in currently, Mayor Mike Wiesa has about half of the vote. Challenger Melissa Johnson takes second place. And the Supreme Court race isn't the only one that judges are watching right now. Oneida County also has an opening for a circuit court judge. Incumbent Judge Mary Burns and Michael Sheik will move on to the April general election for that position. And finally, in Marathon County, the village of Kronewetter is looking to elect a village board president. Incumbent Chris Voll is facing off against newcomers Joel Straub and Kenneth Charneski. Voll and Charneski will be moving on, and a full list of election results can be found on our website. We've got new details this morning on a polling location that was forced to move due to a threat in southern Wisconsin.
Authorities now saying reported shots fired were related to a dispute over a nearby tree removal. Law enforcement responded to the scene in the village of Brooklyn in Dane County around 7 a.m. A 75-year-old man was taken into custody, and some nearby schools and a daycare were briefly put on lockdown. New on Wake Up and Back at Home, a Merrill man will spend just under 3 years in federal prison for tax fraud. Kevin Shabilsky was sentenced Tuesday and will also serve 3 years supervised release. That's for failing to pay over $800,000 in employment taxes between 2014 and 2016. During that time, Shabilsky served as CFO for 5 R processors based in Ladysmith, Catawba, and Glen Flora.
And for many Christians, today is the first day of the Lenten season, which means it's Ash Wednesday. Those who celebrate the day will reflect, fast, repent, and celebrate life. Participating Christians will attend special church services where ashes will be placed on their foreheads in the shape of a cross. They're told, quote, "Remember you are dust, and to dust you shall return." Well, your time is 5:09, and coming up, the snow has already made its first wave into our area. We'll have Storm Track 9 Chief Meteorologist Justin Lowe back with your full weather forecast.
Plus, Governor Tony Evers returns to central Wisconsin, this time to talk about the importance of the state's water. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.